Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season in 18 years. He has won with Ben Roethlisberger, Charlie Batch, Dennis Dixon, Byron Leftwich, Michael Vick, Landry Jones, Mason Rudolph, Delvin Duck Hodges, Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky, Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields.
Damn,
sounds like
Charlie Batch.
It sounds like Key's list of quarterbacks.
He was there with Charlie Batch?
Mm-hmm.
That had to be like his first year.
Batch.
Yeah, that had to be like his first year, though.
I mean, he's been there 18 years. He's been there a long time.
I know. It's like, man, Charlie Batch.
What I said yesterday, I stand by today. If Rodgers does go there is a bit of a risk because Mike Tomlin has a legacy with the Steelers of no matter what the situation is, he at the very least doesn't lose. Every coach can't say that. Now, there's been some conversation about when are they going to take a step up, but you cannot call them a dysfunctional organization. And Aaron Rodgers did go to the Jets, which was a dysfunctional organization, and managed to make them worse. Yeah. So would Rodgers on the Steelers help or hurt his legacy, Key?
The only damage that can be done is if he steps on the field and then he wets the bed. And all of a sudden, Mason Rudolph comes in and takes over or whatever when you're benching a 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion, first ballot Hall of Famer, la-da-da-da-da-da. Then that people will start to look at that and be like, oh, man, he should have, he was done a long time ago. Opposed to if he goes in and he wins and he takes them a place they haven't been in quite some time, which is winning a playoff game or two, then the conversation would be, oh, he's got one more year left in him. He's got one more year left in him. And the reason I said what I said yesterday about Mike Tomlin, I know and you know that Mike Tomlin shouldn't be on anybody's hot seat at all with nothing, no matter who the quarterback is. But the world that we live in, and as soon as that brother doesn't have the success that people think that he should have, the first thing they start to do is call for his job again. That's just, they're not going to say Aaron Rodgers. They're going to say Mike Tomlin, and he was the one who signed off on it. He should have known better. Why wouldn't they take Russell Wilson? Why wouldn't they extend an offer to Justin Fields? Those are the things that we're going to be dealing with, Joy.
What do you think, Paul? Would Rodgers help or hurt his legacy by going to the Steelers?
I think anything he does moving forward is icing on the cake. Like I said, if it's a win-win for him, whatever he does. I mean, I don't expect him to completely just fall off a cliff. And if he does, we won't remember anyway. And in 5 years, we won't even remember he probably played for the Steelers. So the only way we will remember if he goes out and wins a Super Bowl or something like that. So I don't think there's nothing he could do. Everything he's accomplished is set in stone. 4-time MVP, of course. One of the best passers ever. Super Bowl champ. You know, his legacy is cemented. This is just icing on the cake, I believe.
I mean, I think what potentially would have happened with the Jets would have been icing on the cake. But because it went so poorly with the Jets, obviously year one, he immediately tears his Achilles. They have a terrible year. And then whatever happened last year when they won 5 games. And that is an organization that hasn't been to the playoffs in a very long time. And they continue to do the same thing, even though the expectations in the conversation were they're going to be in the AFC Championship game or they're going to go to the Super Bowl. If he was to retire right now, I would tend to agree with you. We wouldn't talk about the Jets. We'd be like, yeah, he went to the Jets. It didn't go well, blah, 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 whatever. He's 4-time MVP, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it, Super Bowl champion. The end. But the Steelers are a bit different because the Steelers are not the Jets. The Steelers are not dysfunctional. The Steelers are a team we expect to compete every single year. We know that they've had a hard time finding a quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger retired, but Mike Tomlin has been able to keep the ship afloat while not having a franchise quarterback since that time. But if you bring in Aaron Rodgers with all that Aaron Rodgers comes with, and he manages to tank the Steelers, that will be something that people talk about, especially because he did it already to another team. And this is not the situation.
He wouldn't finish the season. He wouldn't finish the season. You know that? Because Mike Tomlin has had, throughout his career, he has no issue with flipping quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He'll flip a quarterback in a heartbeat. You start playing bad, he'll go to the next dude. So if Aaron Rodgers gets off to a poor start, that'll probably be the end of Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh.
But don't you think, while I don't think it is going to change his, long-term legacy.
No, he's still going to first ballot Hall of Fame.
Of course, nothing's going to undo that.
No.
Nothing's going to do that. But I do think that this will be more of a part of the conversation.
Yes. It'll be a conversation.
Nobody talk about Carolina Key and don't nobody talk about Clipper Paul. Nobody, we don't even remember. Nobody going to remember this.
But did you go to the Clippers and make them worse?
No.
After you bombed another organization?
No.
And Key had, how many catches did you have?
I was 70-something, whatever. I played well. I wasn't worried about
Nobody
that.
He caught
remember
70
Carolina
rocks.
Key, is what I'm saying.
That's not true.
That's true.
No, it's not.
But
Carolina Panther fans remember me.
That's it. And only people that's going to criticize Aaron.
Clippers fans remember you also.
No, they remember me because I went to Inglewood High.
No, but if Aaron
make them
Rodgers,
worse,
though,
though.
if Aaron Rodgers, think about it. Mike Tomlin and them, they won 9 last year? 9 games? Or 10, whatever.
10.
And think if they missed the playoffs and he's the quarterback. Or he's
think
the
they're gonna miss the
quarterback.
playoffs this year.
If he's
the
the quarterback, then all of a sudden Mike Tomlin has to, in week 7, go to Mason Rudolph or whoever they draft. And Aaron Rodgers has got to stand there and hold a clipboard. Okay?
Which I doubt he'll do quietly.
No, he won't do that.
What you mean he won't do it? What he gonna do?
He can go, I'm going to take my ball and go home.
So he gonna ask for his release.
Yeah.
So thank you. So now, how would that look if he tells them he wants his release and not to be a part of the team moving forward because he got benched? You know how much you'll be on these shows talking about that?
Yeah, but in 5 years, we won't even remember.
Well, 5 years, you don't remember a lot, but I'm talking
But I'm
about the
gonna remember him
immediate
as a
future.
Green Bay Packer.
Yes,
and
but this will be part of the story.
Right.
No question about it's going to be part of the story.
I can
When
tell you Pittsburgh fans will remember.
we talk about Joe Montana with the San Francisco 49ers. But remember, he went to the Kansas City Chiefs, and they went to the AFC Championship game when they said he was done in San Francisco. We have that story. That's the conversation.
Yeah.
Same thing with Brett Favre. He leaves Green Bay, goes to the Jets, goes to Minnesota, takes us to the AFC Championship game. We talk about that. We don't just dismiss it as if it's nothing. Tom Brady won the Super Bowl after leaving New England in Tampa Bay. We talk about that. We
But
have
don't
that
talk
conversation.
about like Cam Newton in New England. You know what I'm saying?
Cam Newton ain't the same.
Like,
Cam Newton is
he was
not
an MVP,
viewed, but
he
he's
went
not
to the
viewed,
Super Bowl.
But he's not viewed.
I mean, he
the
was an elite
same.
quarterback, though.
Yeah, no question. But he wasn't viewed. He's not viewed the same as these other QBs. We talk about Peyton Manning,
Right,
because Peyton Manning is considered one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time by many people.
Yeah. Well, there's another quarterback out there who may be able to help a team win. The Falcons are shopping Kirk Cousins, to quote everyone right now that will listen, according to our insider Jordan Schultz. Cousins already earned a $10 million roster bonus for being on the roster past Saturday's deadline and is due $27.5 million this year from Atlanta. So key. Shout out Kirk Cousins, by the way. On the
Getting
Mount
that money,
Rushmore
yeah.
more of getting bags. Oh, that man knows how
Hey,
to
look
get
at
bags.
him and just say, hey,
Hey,
you want another bag?
some money? You look like you want some more money.
He look like he wants some money.
Yeah, he
dog.
wants
Look like you're gonna do what we need you to do for this money, but we're gonna give it to you anyway.
Yeah, we know your ankle's all messed up, but we got 100 for you.
Man, Kirk is
He's
good
made
for
almost $300 million.
Your locker room, though. He's a good locker room dude. Like, when you hear his interviews, when he got benched and stuff like that, he was very professional.
I'll take $30 million to be a good locker room
To be a
person.
professional, though, man. Sometimes that go a long way, and people
He's
see
really
that.
a nice guy. Yeah.
No, he is.
That's it. You know that, right,
And
Joy?
he can help somebody. Y'all forget before he fell off the cliff. He was playing well. But in the first 9 games, he was playing well.
He's really a nice guy, Paul.
No, he can still give you something. He can give you more than I
I
mean,
really like him, Paul.
But I'm saying,
The
when you
teams want
take
to trade for him.
He's a nice guy, Paul.
come on now. Don't do that, Key. He still can help a team get to the playoffs.
I think he could help a team
Get to the
that
playoffs.
need a quarterback that I'm not saying he can't, but he's a nice guy.
A la Pittsburgh. A la Pittsburgh, he can help them. They'll be still. I will have more confidence in Kirk Cousins on Pittsburgh getting back to the playoffs than probably Aaron Rodgers.
No, I wouldn't.
I would. I mean, who had the better year last year?
Leak.
Huh?
I'm trying to think because Kirk got
Man,
benched.
Kirk Cousins got benched because he fell off the cliff. But those first
No, I'm
9,
saying
10
he got
games,
benched, and Aaron Rodgers came on the
He
last
was
5 games.
7-7 last year, 66.9 completion percentage, 3,500 yards, 18 passing touchdowns, 16 interceptions.
because he fell off the cliff the last few games.
Look, he's a nice guy. I like him. There's
Well, who are you
nothing-
taking in front of him?
Well, remember, we don't have Crenshaw Key anymore, so we're not going to get a real answer.
I'm giving you a round. So he's a nice guy.
Key Capalot.
It's either Key Capalot or corporate
Man,
Key.
he's a nice guy.
Okay, but should teams want to trade for him?
It depends on when you say should. The teams that need quarterbacks in the worst way.
Okay, so we're
If
talking
there's an
about the
opportunity-
Giants, we're talking about the Browns, we're talking about Pittsburgh, we're talking about Tennessee, we're talking about.
No, if I'm Tennessee, no.
Okay, so Tennessee.
If I'm the Browns, yes. Familiarity with Kevin Stefanski. He was his offensive coordinator, quarterback coach in Minnesota when he was there before he got the Cleveland job. So, yes, that makes a lot of sense. He knows him. He knows the system. He knows the whole deal. Pittsburgh could make sense depending on what happens with Aaron Rodgers. The Giants, it doesn't. The Giants ain't going nowhere. You only want Kirk Cousins if you're going somewhere. That's the only.
Well, the reason you could have Kirk Cousins is because you draft a young quarterback and you got Kirk Cousins in the locker room.
Yeah, but you got to pay. Now we're talking about the money.
Yeah.
I don't need a $47 million quarterback.
Yeah, he is. He's tied for 13th. He actually makes the same as Patrick Mahomes in average,
what's that number?
Average annual value, $45 million.
Yeah, see, I don't need a $45 million tutor. I don't need that. That's very expensive, and I got to give up something to get him.
But he's a nice guy.
You know those stories. Guy can't play. He can't coach. But he's a nice guy. I like him. I mean, he's cool, but it's a lot that you have to.
Likability goes a long way.
You have to give up a lot. If you think about
$45 million, long way.
If you think about notable quarterback trades, for instance, when Sam Bradford, this is back in 2016, Teddy Bridgewater got hurt. Then all of a sudden, Minnesota needed a quarterback. They went out and gave up a first-round pick for Sam Bradford and a fourth round pick. So they gave up a haul to get Sam Bradford, which didn't turn out to do anything for him at all. So you got to be careful. You think about Jimmy Garoppolo, San Francisco 49ers. They went and got Jimmy G in 2017, gave up a second-round pick for him. They wound up getting to the Super Bowl, but ultimately didn't win it. But the team was stacked.
Expensive.
Well, the team that makes the most sense then is Pittsburgh. I mean, you went out and signed Cleveland.
Jared Judy's over there. You got Nick Chubb at the running back position. You still got the tight end. They got Myles Garrett. They got Denzel Ward.
They're still running money to Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's wasted money. There's nothing they can do about that. That money's gone.
They could not pay.
Flushed down. It's flushed down.
I know.
Gone.
We're going to talk about that trade eventually. But I'm saying as far as he's paying more money for a guy that walked off
because I don't want to get fired. I got to do something because if I don't, I'm going to get fired.
I mean, if I'm Cleveland and I'm going to go with a veteran quarterback, Russell Wilson makes so much more sense.
But the thing is Kirk Cousins a year removed from Achilles injury, so he's probably a little more healed, so to speak. He knows the system and knows the quarterback. And knows the head coach and understands that situation. And I can get Atlanta to take some of that money back. And we don't have to absorb that $27 million cash in whatever $45 million cap. We don't have to. We can play with it a lot of different ways. You take some, I'll give you a couple draft picks, kind of like they did with Brock Osweiler, Cleveland did with Texas when they did the whole swap with him.
That worked out really well.
Yeah, but I'm just buying the contract. He wasn't a good player. Kirk Cousins is at least better than he was.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.